A very good morning to you and welcome to the news update on SOUQ News Television. I am Omevi Idolo. President Bola Tinubu has directed Nigeria's financial and capital market regulators to closely monitor the rising use of stablecoins and digital currencies, warning that the shift away from traditional banking poses new risks. Speaking at the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria's conference in Abuja, Tinubu, represented by Finance Minister Wale Edun, stressed that digital assets, artificial intelligence, and open banking are critical to boosting industrial output, creating jobs, and modernizing the economy. He also highlighted reforms linking government accounts with the Central Bank of Nigeria to improve transparency and boost revenue mobilization. The president reaffirmed his administration's focus on youth empowerment, tax reforms, and private sector investment, while Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso announced a target of attracting $1 billion monthly diaspora remittances by 2026, up from the current $600 million. The Securities and Exchange Commission is already enforcing the new Investment and Securities Act 2025, which classifies digital assets as securities and mandates strict compliance from virtual asset service providers. The Central Bank of Nigeria has confirmed that its 302nd Monetary Policy Committee meeting will be held at its Abuja headquarters on Monday, September 22nd, 2025 at 10 a.m. and continue on Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025 at 8 a.m. The two-day session will review domestic and global economic developments with decisions on interest rates, inflation, and financial system stability expected to shape the country's economic direction. The outcome will be closely monitored by investors and analysts amid currency pressures. On Tuesday, the Naira closed flat at the Nigerian foreign exchange market, edging up 0.05% to 1,506 Naira 08 kobo to a dollar, compared to 1,506 Naira 84 kobo on Monday. In the parallel market, the Naira remained stable at 1,520 to a dollar, the same rate applied by Guaranty Trust Bank for international transactions. Foreign portfolio inflows on the Nigerian exchange rose by 354.4% to 609.73 billion naira in the first 7 months of 2025, compared with 134.19 billion naira in the same period of 2022. The Nigeria Exchange Report also showed that foreign outflows surged by 382.2% to 671.56 billion naira, up from 138.97 billion naira in 2022. Total foreign transactions, inflow and outflow, reached 1.28 trillion naira in 2025, a sharp rise from 273.16 billion naira 3 years ago. Overall transactions at the exchange jumped 240.8% to 6.01 trillion naira in 7 months of 2025, from 1.76 trillion naira in 7 months of 2022. Domestic retail investors grew their trades by 311.6% to 1.99 trillion naira, while institutional investors rose by 171.9% to 2.74 trillion naira. On a year-to-date basis, foreign inflow increased by 128.7% from July 2024, while foreign outflow grew by 102.7% within the same period. Google says searches linking artificial intelligence with education in Nigeria have surged by more than 200% in 2025 as students increasingly rely on AI tools for learning. The data released on Tuesday showed sharp increases across subjects, with searches for AI plus chemistry rising 50%, AI plus mathematics and AI plus languages, each 30%, and grammar-related queries growing 20%. Popular questions included what is the best AI for solving mathematical problems and how to use AI to solve math problems. Olumide Balogun, Google's West Africa director, said the trend reflects how learners are using AI to deepen understanding rather than just finding answers. Beyond academics, searches such as how to use AI and what is the full meaning of AI grew 80%. While queries for AI detection soared to 190%, highlighting concerns about responsible use. Google added that generative AI has become a breakout term, often linked with professional certification, suggesting that young Nigerians are also using AI to prepare for future careers. United States President Donald Trump has asked European Union officials to impose tariffs of up to 100% on China and India, arguing that the move would pressure Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to United States official and an EU diplomat, Trump made the request during a conference call with EU sanctions envoy David O'Sullivan and other officials in Washington. Trump said the United States was ready to impose similar tariffs if the European Union joined in. China and India are key buyers of Russian oil, helping sustain Moscow's economy during its war in Ukraine. The proposal marks a shift for the EU, which has focused on sanctions rather than tariffs. Trump has previously raised tariffs on India but stopped short of broader measures. Despite his call for tougher action, he later said the United States could boost trade ties with India and plan talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Many thanks for watching. Do well to follow us on all our social media platforms at SOUQ News Television. I am Omevi Idolo. Coming up shortly is SOUQ Business Landscape. Stay with us.
Hello Nigeria, hello Africa. Yeah, this is Sound Man. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Babalola from Excel LED. Keep watching SOUQ News.
My name is Shepherd Michael Adewale Onofuye. I enjoy you all to always watch SOUQ News TV.
Hi, I'm Tom Buggaballs, and please keep watching SOUQ News.
Wale Seriki, SLG Lagos Island East, SOUQ News, keep out watching them and keep a lookout for them. They're up and coming, and we're proudly to be affiliated with them.
You alone where they make me go crazy. This your love in the cool of my brain. You're my medicine, I need you all day. Yo, it's Blackface Nigeria, and you're watching SOUQ News TV. Keep it locked on this dial, don't change it. You know what I say? Blackface Nigeria, love no bad.
When you visit Lagos for the first time and Google fun or recreational places in the city, at the top of that list will be Freedom Park. Located in Lagos Island on Broad Street, Freedom Park over the years has become home to the Nigerian arts and the culture at large. From annual big shows like the Lagos Theatre Festival, Celebration at the Lagos Poetry Festival, to local festivals that celebrate literature, music and arts. Freedom Park is one of the most visited recreational sites in Lagos, for both local and tourist people alike. A place to mingle, unwind, or simply just have fun. Freedom Park, however, hasn't always been a place of fun and games. It has a history that dates to 1861, when Lagos was made a British colony. In 1885, Freedom Park was built as a fortified prison from imported bricks. It was referred to as Her Majesty's Broad Street Prison. Some prominent political prisoners were held in the prison, people such as Herbert Macaulay, Michael Imodu, and Obafemi Awolowo. In 1979, Her Majesty's Broad Street Prison was destroyed, reduced to a dumping ground. It was later rebuilt in the 1990s, celebrated in 2010, Nigeria's 50th Independence Day. Freedom Park still holds a bit of its history within its walls. In the museum, where there are pictures and artifacts. Some of the old prison facilities have been converted into leisure facilities that people visit and enjoy today.
Known as the father of African literature, Chinua Achebe was born on the 16th of November 1930 in Ogidi, now Anambra State, eastern Nigeria. He was born to Isaiah Okafor Achebe, a teacher and an evangelist, and Janet Anenichi Ilegunam, a vegetable farmer. Achebe has reshaped the global understanding of African identity through the power of storytelling. Raised during the twilight of colonial rule, Achebe's education was steeped in both Igbo tradition and the Western values of post-colonial Christianity. As a student at the University of Ibadan, he became fiercely critical of how Africa was portrayed in Western literature. Achebe believed that Western literature often painted Africa as a dark and primitive continent, but he sought to tell the African people's lens. In 1958, Achebe's groundbreaking novel Things Fall Apart shattered colonial narratives through the tragic story of Okonkwo, an Igbo warrior. Achebe illuminated the complexities of African culture and the devastating effects of European colonization. Things Fall Apart became more than just a novel. It became a symbol of African resistance against the oppressive narratives of colonialism. Achebe was not just a writer. He was a passionate advocate for African self-determination, and his political activism made him a critical voice in the post-colonial era. Even after a life marked by personal and political struggles, including a car accident that left him partially paralyzed, Achebe continued to inspire. He taught at Bard College and later Brown University, where his influence reached new generations of writers and thinkers. He was married to Christiana Chinwe Okoli and they had 4 children. Sadly, he died in March 2013 at the age of 82. Chinua Achebe's legacy endures in his novels, his essays, and in the countless voices of African writers who follow in his footsteps. He gave us a voice, a story, and a vision of Africa that is ours to share.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State, on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with the Daily Service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakonde established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakonde ran for election as Executive Governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakonde established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakonde was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakonde was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakonde, SOUQ Enlightenment.
The most powerful tool we have to the future. It empowers individual, drives economic growth, promotes social development and equality, advances science, technology, and contributes to global peace and security. Education is not just a privilege, it's a fundamental right that should be accessible to all. Attacks on education remain one of the gravest consequences of conflict, depriving children and communities of safety, stability, and hope for the future. Such attacks result in death, injury, and displacement of students and teachers, leading to temporary or permanent school closure. This disruption reduces quality of education, forces children out of classrooms, and contributes to alarming social consequences, including increased child labor, child marriage, and teenage pregnancy. Education, a fundamental human right and a lifeline during crisis, is increasingly under siege in conflict zones worldwide. Recognizing the urgency of crisis, the United Nations General Assembly on May 28, 2020, unanimously adopted Resolution 74-275, establishing September 9th as the International Day to Protect Education from Attack. Presented by Qatar and co-sponsored by 62 countries, the resolution reaffirmed government responsibility to ensure safe, inclusive, and equitable education for all. It emphasized intensified efforts and increased funding to safeguard schools, learners, and educators, while mandating UNESCO and UNICEF to lead global observance in collaboration with partners. Despite this, attacks have escalated sharply in recent years. Between 2022 and 2023, nearly 6,000 attacks were recorded, with schools
take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff?
Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape. Hello and welcome to SOUQ Business Landscape, your weekly window into the market, policies, and the global forces shaping business, development, and of course economy. Today we will unpack
aviation reforms, cultural, agricultural investments, education, and everything from African growth stories to oil markets and global sanctions. I am Olumide Shukoi, and I have lady and gentlemen starting from my left. The ever delectable Swift Aderito.
Good morning, Olumide. You have decided to wow me with a nice tie. Doctor decided to take off the tie, so I don't comment him today. But it's fine. We'll still compliment him. How you doing? Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. And good morning, world. Get ready to be blown away as we sit down and we analyze every issue that is bothering you: corporate, business, economy, and development. My name is Swift Aderito. Get ready to be blown away.
And to my right, I have the Nostradamus of our time, the think tank, and of course the oracle, Doctor.
Olumide, good morning. Very sweet. It's a pleasure to be here this morning. Great Nigeria. We see Nigeria rising and Africa becoming the bride of the continents of the world.
Doctor, wait, before you start, let me shake this table. Doctor, you are smiling. You are looking, the way you are smiling, have you received alert? Because usually when you receive, you understand. Because we are not smiling the way, can you let us in on this?
Well, our alerts come from heaven.
Well said, well said. So let me treat you to what we have today. First, to aviation sector. Regulators are taking a tougher stance, on service failures from the skies to the farms. Nigeria's cashew industry says incentives, not banned, will drive industrialization. Education remains a cornerstone of growth. As Usman Danfodio University's convocation, President Tinubu reforms received praise. Now, turning to diplomacy, Nigeria and Angola are strengthening ties through their bilateral joint commission. And back home, retired soldiers are finally set to receive their long-awaited entitlements. Now, onto the market, the Nigerian exchange opened the week strong, adding over 263 billion naira. South Africa is posting its fastest growth in 2 years, led by manufacturing and mining. And in Europe, energy politics is again at the fore, as France and Germany push for wider sanctions on Russian oil companies. And finally, energy analysts warn crude could slip below $60 per barrel as OPEC begins easing cuts. Trump asked EU to place a 100% tariff on China and India to pressure Russia, saying US would follow suit. Those are some of the treats we will have for you this morning. We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll start off proper. Stay tuned.
Take Nigeria because it's the mind that needs to first of all be rebranded.
Idris said he's going to be putting Nigerian labor, Nigeria content and materials first.
If you say Nigeria first and it is just us down here that, are pushing that agenda, it's going to be a big struggle.
Do you think Nigerian firms, Nigerian organizations should start looking at getting their staff involved in this market or buying to keep for their staff? Within this side, let's also learn citizen diplomacy. See something. This is SOUQ Business Landscape.
Welcome back. All right. Now, if you are not watching, call your friends, call every other one. Turn into YouTube. That's at SOUQ News Television. And follow us. Share. Drop your comments on some of the stories. We welcome your own side of the story. So we'll start off with aviation. Now, the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, has announced plans to publicly identify airlines that fail to comply with aviation regulations, particularly regarding frequent flight delays and cancellations. Now, according to the NCAA, the move follows a directive from the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, who has stressed the need for greater accountability in the sector. Now, Michael Ashimogu, the NCAA's Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, disclosed this decision in a post on his official X handle, Mike Achimogu 01. On Sunday, he explained that the measure is part of efforts to protect passengers' rights and enforce strict adherence to operational standards. Now, the regulatory body says that by naming and shaming the 14 airlines, it helps to push operators to improve service delivery, enhance consumer confidence, and strengthen discipline in the industry. Stakeholders say this policy could signal a new era of transparency in Nigerian aviation, where airlines are held accountable for operational inefficiencies and inconveniences thousands of travelers face daily. Now, Doctor, coming to you. I had to do a bit of research. Now, in 2004, domestic airlines recorded 1,320 cancelled flights and 38,061 delays. Domestic carriers accounted for about 1,189 cancellations and 33,235 delays, while international airlines accounted for about 131 cancellations and 4,426 delays. Now, we have a list of companies that were sanctioned, were called. I don't want to put them on air, but the reason why this is coming out is because the NCAA had already summoned both these local and international airlines. They had a meeting with them. Some were even sanctioned. And this is still happening. So do you think that this was as a result of not adhering to strict guidelines? And do you think this naming and shaming would actually put them back on track?
Well, I think there's so much that needs to be done in our aviation sector. And the task is really for NCAA to be up and doing in terms of regulatory oversights of some of these airlines. Before I even get into the cancellations, it can be very, very annoying.
Yes.
That if you are using a foreign airline, for example, from Nigeria, and you are transiting from another country, the kind of airline that they bring to Nigeria and the one they take to other countries are not the same. Outmoded airlines, airlines that are no longer airworthy. You see the upholstery not maintained. These are the things that you see come here from the foreign side to our environment. And whereas if you are taking the same airline to another country from their home country, they can't use that kind of aircraft. And I think NCAA and the Federal Airport Authority should be able to look into this and look at the quality of aircraft that even come here. Because if you're using old aircraft, maintenance become issues.
Yes.
And so when your flight is supposed to be taken off, mechanics are working on it. And you see, these are the issues that are precipitating the delays or cancellation of flight. So the need for those who regulate to be sure that the quality of the aircraft that comes in here are airworthy is quite very important. So if you have